everybody. This is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
We did not hear you. You
That's
said
'cause
dramatic
you're
entrance.
muted.
You're on mute.
Oh
man.
my God.
I'm Andrew.
Doing it for 2
There
years.
we go.
Like this.
Wow.
Oh.
Amateur hour. Get out of here. Go have another shot of Tabasco or water or whatever that is you're drinking. My name is Garrett.
And I'm David. Welcome to So Many Sequels.
Wow. Yes, indeed. This is part 2 of our 2021 year in review. Last episode, we talked about some of the crazy things that happened last year in movies, and we shockingly managed to make it through 2 of our top 10.
We talk too much.
We talked too much.
Well,
we went to our number 10 and number 9. So
Yeah, our 10s and 9s are pretty much all different, but there's going to be a lot of repeats coming up. So hopefully
That's
we'll have
true.
less to talk about as we get towards number 1.
all right. Well, let's just get into it then. Why don't you give us your number 8, David? What was your number 8?
My number 8, and I have all the lists pulled up here. My number 8 is the same as Garrett's number 8. It's Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
you guys had the same number 8.
Yeah, this was Disney's first animated film released this year, and it did the theatrical run and the day and date, I think. And it was the first movie to sort of do that, because the first premium access movie was Mulan, but that didn't get a theatrical run in the United States. So this was the first time they tried the theatrical run plus day and date. And yeah, I did it. I forked over the money. I watched it here at home, and I loved it. Loved it. Animation was gorgeous. It was Disney they flipped themselves this year, because this was a princess non-musical, and then later they did a musical non-princess. So that was kind of different. And I really enjoyed it. I think one of the best antagonists, named Mari, that we've had in a Disney film in a long time. So great action adventure feel. Animation looked great. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say about it. I think it had a chance to win best animated film, but I think another film's going to take it from it.
I really enjoyed this one. It was I think it was my number 3 until a couple of days ago as of this recording. And I dropped it down only just because I think some of the other ones are a little stronger. But for me, it's really the story. You don't get a lot of stories about trust in this way. That's really the central message. And what I like is that you see the hero, which is Raya, spoilers, sacrificing the opportunity to be the stereotypical type of hero and be the one that gets all the gander and the glory that you see most of the time. Instead, she relinquished it and said, I'm taking this step as the people who trust me and putting my faith in someone who needs this shot at redemption. That is me as a leader saying, I don't need this. You need this. We are putting our faith in you to do this. And Namari came through. And it was this really nice moment of trust. And it sends this message that you don't see a lot. And that's what I really enjoyed about this, is that it's got that hero element. It's got that action adventure element. And it's got that redemption moment for someone who needs it because through no real fault of their own other than circumstances and situations. And so I think that once they got that moment, they pulled through. And that is nice to see, that you don't see all the time, especially in an animated movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, Raya didn't make my top 10, but I did like it quite a lot for all those reasons. It's a really cool, unique story. Well, I say unique story. It's different from what a lot of Disney movies, animated movies, have shown us, with this magical kind of, I don't know what I'm saying. It just is different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it a lot. And Raya's sword is one of the coolest swords I've ever seen.
It's
and
pretty
I just
cool.
need
Yeah.
to say that because it wasn't said. It can grapple hook. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, I have to ask if you saw the movie a second time, because I know for a fact you slept during the first viewing.
No, I didn't. And I want to say that from what I saw, it was very good.
Yeah.
David, let me tell you real quick, because this is a experience that I remember well. Andrew came and saw the movie at the theater, fell asleep during key moments,
Which never happens.
Afterward, he was kind of sour on the movie a little bit, and he was like, just didn't make any sense. And then he started asking questions that we were like, those were clearly answered in the plot, like directly. I think you slept through like story moments, Andrew, and he did. So
Yeah, without question.
That is why Riot is not ranked very high for him. He didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
I know the name of Andrew's list is so Garrett. Josh's list is just 2021. Its title. Garrett named his 2021-ish movies. The name of Andrew's list is Seen in 2021. I don't know if that's true. Some of these are unseen.
How about movies I remember seeing?
Attempted in 2021.
Maybe the title of your list should be "Was Present For" in 2021.
Paid ticket to see.
Body was here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Well, since you didn't see that movie, Andrew, what was your number 8?
Yeah.
What was your number 8?
Okay, all right. My number 8. My number 8 was a fantastic documentary called Summer of Soul, directed by Questlove. And I remember this blew me away whenever I saw it, because not only is I'm a huge fan of that type of music. I'm a huge fan of it, and I love listening to it. I listened to it growing up. It's one of my all-time favorite genres. And several of these people I had known like as I was growing up, and I'm just like, oh, this is actually really good music. It's amazing to me. It's an amazing story that was held right around the same time as Woodstock, and it's never been told until now. And even more so, I think it's more highlighting that Questlove from The Roots is the director of this. And I think it's just an interesting take on this. And I hope it gets more recognition than it does, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to. But that is probably one of the better docs I've seen all year. And I saw a lot of documentaries this year, and that is the one that ranks the highest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, it's also very high. It's my number 4 of the year. I agree. I was really stunned when I knew what the movie was, but I didn't know going in that there was TV quality footage of this concert, which had, I mean, the movie opens with a drum solo of Stevie Wonder. I mean, that's how it starts. And then it just goes up from there. It has so many amazing performers. And the fact that this footage was recorded for TV, never put on TV, lost in a basement literally for like 50 years, and that this is the first time that we're ever seeing it, most of us are ever hearing of it, is an absolute insane story. And it is a fantastic, it is fun to be a part of as a concert movie, and fascinating to watch from a documentary perspective. So I highly agree. This is a fantastic experience to watch.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. I actually hadn't even heard about it, but I'm looking into it now, and it sounds like a blast.
I think it's on Hulu, so please go if you have Hulu, just go watch it. It is worth the time. It's fantastic.
Does it have any? Is it like the Beatles Get Back and free of narration, or is it like is there?
No,
is
they
there
have.
kind of like,
they talked to some people who were there as audience members, and some of the performers who were there. And I mean, a lot of the audience members, they really talk about it, but they also have kind of seemed to have forgotten about it. And then they show them this footage, and it returns all these memories to them. It is a really, really great watch.
That's cool.
Well,
That's
it's one of the more memorable things was that like it was recorded in 1969. So one of the big things that was going on at the time was the moon landing. And they were asking they were asking all the participants and all the audience members of the concert. They're like, what do you all think about the moon landing? Everybody just said, we don't care about it. So I stuff like that. It's more of a social commentary than anything, also, instead of
absolutely.
And that's what I like even more about it. So that's why I really like this movie a lot. This movie was so good, and it deserves to be seen in a theater, and it deserves to be played loud, like Martin Scorsese's The Last Waltz. Turn the volume up.
There might be a chance for this at the Academy Awards. I'm looking at the rundown.
Oh yeah,
I hope so.
It's best picture nominee for sure.
It is pending
Or not
for
picture,
the 2022 Grammys, so I would assume that it would be on the list for 2022's Oscar run.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my number 8 is a movie that its technical release year was 2020, but it was not released wide until 2021, and that is Minari. We probably talked about Minari a little bit last year in our Oscar special or something, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but Minari is a really touching story about a family who moves to Arkansas away from their city life in like a chunk of land in a really small like trailer home to just become farmers, and how they kind of integrate into this new culture as a family, as people, and it's just a really nice movie. So that's why it's my number 8.
Yeah, I remember you talking about it. I'm disappointed in myself that I never got around to checking it out, but I still want to, because I grew up in Arkansas, and there actually was there were small communities of Korean and Vietnamese groups that did that same thing, that just kind of found a spot where they could farm or raise, livestock or something like that. So I was really interested in seeing that. So yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Or fun in a good way, in a drama movie kind of way.
Beautiful movie, shot here in Oklahoma, which is always nice to be a part of. Great story. It's in my top 15. Beautiful movie.
It's not in my. I'll have to double check, but it's not in my top 10. I know it's not in my top 10, but no, I did love the movie whenever it was released. It was released earlier this year, so it feels like so long ago. But no, it was incredible. It was very well shot, very well done. And I just remember seeing some of the local people that I know that are actually in the movie. It was filmed in, like what Garrett said, it's actually filmed in Tulsa, which 3 out of 4 of us live in. So, and 4 out of 4 of us. Well, 3 out of 4 of us work in.
Live near, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my number 7 is actually, I'm looking at our list now, and actually, except for Andrew, who didn't have this movie in their top 10, it ranks pretty close for all 4 of for the remaining 3 of us, and that is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Comes in at my number 7. Blast. It was super refreshing. I can't wait to see more from these guys. You can listen to our review of Shang-Chi that came out earlier this year.
I haven't had this much hype for a new Marvel character since Black Panther. It was so cool to see a new character introduced in a way that was, redeeming of a character that was messed up in the past, and delivered on some, again, you take a shot with a character that's lesser known. And you have to deliver big, and Marvel always runs that risk of, is this the one that's not going to land? And it did. So it was they fought on the side of a building. I mean, goodness gracious, it's good.
Yeah, Shang-Chi was also my number 7, and I agree for all those reasons. It's just a really cool origin story that we're not used to, and I think they landed it real well. And then, of course, there's all the fun tie-ins to other aspects of the MCU that fans are always looking for. It really checks a lot of boxes, and it has a dragon, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyone else pop this into their list?
No, I didn't pop into mine, but I really loved it.
Okay.
Garrett, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is a Netflix Western called The Harder They Fall. It is a fantastic. I'm not a big Western fan for the most part. I feel like I've seen them all. They're all basically the same. But I like a different type of story, and this has got real characters that are based. It is a Black cast. It's got characters that are based, but the story is fictionalized. But every character is so strong, and like I would describe every single person as a badass, whether they are a good person, whether they are a bad person, they are a bad ass and they can easily beat you up. And so they build them up so well throughout this whole thing. There's a moment at the end. I'm going to spoil it. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's a moment at the end where there's a couple of quick draw people and they're going at it. And then, oh God, I wish I could. I don't know who's seen it, so I don't want to say anything. But there's a moment where the one person says a little quip, and it is just, oh God, it is. I don't know. It's very good. It really is a great story.
I saw it this year. Andrew, did you see it?
I did see it.
Yeah, and I got it. It didn't make my top 10, but I will say, it was big. It was big on the cool. Like it was just everything about it had that coolness. Lakey Stanfield, like for everything, please. Like I mean, like I don't know if the dude knows how to be uninteresting. I was wrapped on every scene he was in. Every actor in this film knows like how to command the screen. And I was surprised to see one of the Wayans brothers find their way in there. That was kind of fun. But yeah,
Dion Cole.
And you know what?
Dion Cole was in there.
And hey, you know what? The music's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Soundtrack.
All right. Andrew, what was your number 7?
That was my number 7. My number 7 was this little movie, this little independent movie called Dune. And I put that in there because it was visually stunning. It enraptures you into another world. And there's so much story here that you can't tell it in one movie. And the truth is that like I remember when I saw it, I was just like kind of blown away by it. And we saw it in IMAX, and that's where you need to see it. Like you actually do need to see it in IMAX because it just puts you more into it. But like overall, I was surprised at how many people were in it, and how much like the sound design is incredible. The visual effects are amazing. If this doesn't win at the Oscars this year, well, then the Oscars suck. But anyway, yeah, that is my number 7.
Okay.
So there.
Cool. I liked Dune a lot too. It did not make my list though, but I am looking forward to more. And I got the book for Christmas, so I'm gonna read that.
I believe Andrew, you're the only one to get Dune on their list. Sorry, some tears going on over there. Look cool. Haven't had a chance to get around to it yet, but I hope to eventually. I'm very interested in Dune, but there's a part of me that also wants to watch it and watch the old one, watch the 80s, I think, adaptation.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that means it's your turn, David, again to give your number 6 because my 7 was the same.
Here we go. My number 6 is The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yeah.
This was a blast of an animated film. It had we did a review for this. Sorry. We did a review for this, so please go check out that review. You can hear all my thoughts on it there. What a ton of fun. Could be best picture. I don't know. We'll find out. Best animated picture, that is.
I'll sweep in real quick here because it's also my number 6. So we'll knock out 2 and 1 right there. Mitchell's versus Machines is awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely recommend it. And then check out our review that we already did of it. It's from Sony Animation, so it's got that same style and look as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is really cool animation. And it's just hilarious. It's got a lot of good gags for kids. It's got a lot of good gags for adults too, as well as just having a great message of, not all technology is evil, but not all technology is great, and kind of finding that middle ground and family togetherness, all that good stuff. That's why.
Yes.
And just Beck Bennett,
Beck Bennett.
I think
he's one of the robots, right?
One of the robots, pig dog bread, and he I think he was underrated as a member of Saturday Night Live, and I look forward to him being successful after.
All right.
Yeah, this was my favorite movie of the year. It is just an incredibly
one.
Yep. It is an incredibly fun watch. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about it. The animation is beautiful. The story, for me, it really hits a lot of things for me. It has a high cry count, a high sentimental, touching cry count. It's basically, if you're a weird, awkward film nerd, written for you. For me, it really was just pure enjoyable bliss both times I watched it. So yeah, number one movie for me for 2021.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow. All right then. Well, then it's your turn to give us your number 6.
Sorry. Yeah.
My number 6 was Shang-Chi. We already done talking about it. So we can move on.
And we already talked
What
about
was your
Andrew's
number
number 6.
All right. My number 6 is Nobody.
Fantastic.
We-
Moving on.
We went from
really?
0 to
Now we're
60 and I'm
picking
about
it
to
up.
find a fuck out.
Oh, that's maybe my favorite.
That was a
one.
well-placed line there. Good job.
We already talked about my number 5. So
Which was
What was your number 5?
my number 5 was A Quiet Place Part 2.
Ah, very cool.
So we talked about that a little ways back there. So I think we need to go to, let's see, what's next now? So
It's me.
Garrett's number 5, I think we've already talked about. No, we haven't. Garrett. your
No,
number
we
5
haven't
is
talked
mine.
about my number 5. My number 5 is
number 5.
Coda.
Coda.
I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but Coda is on Apple TV. It is, I think, nominated for a Golden Globe currently, and probably a candidate for Best Picture, I would imagine. You know, it is a story that you've seen a lot, where a kid is struggling to communicate with her parent. But I like seeing different stories on there. And so the story is she is the only member of she's the only member of a family who can hear, or so she is the only person who can hear. Her whole family is deaf, and she can sing, and that's what she wants to do with her life. But her family doesn't understand it because they can't hear music. And so it is this really interesting dynamic of how they live and interact with such a communication difference, where it's just an interesting story that you don't see that kind of dynamic, and it's delivered in such a beautiful way, where she's finding herself and she has this mentor who's leading her along the way. It is really a beautiful movie. Again, high cry count, very, very cryy, but is a beautiful movie.
Yeah. Haven't seen it yet, but it's high on my list of movies to get.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
I've also heard.
I'm looking at the cast list now. I love this cast.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I
think next we have to go to Andrew's number 5.
Yes.
My number 5 is Lin-Manuel Miranda's directorial debut of Tick, Tick, Boom. And I saw it a couple days ago. I was blown away. And it is highly personable. It's by Jonathan Larson. It's basically what it is that it's a play. It's a musical about a musical being written by Jonathan Larson, who, if you don't know who Jonathan Larson is, he wrote the Pulitzer Prize winning, Tony winning, award winning play Rent. And it goes through all the trials of what it's like to be a playwright, as well as a musical adaptation, and it does so in such a way that it's also a musical as well. Several of the songs are very catchy. The performances are absolutely great. The only person who's really the only real star in this really is just Andrew Garfield. And Andrew Garfield had a pretty banner of a year. But all in all, I think Tick, Tick, Boom is one of my new favorites because just of how well the story is told. And this was despite coming out of 2020, we had a pretty good year for musicals, I will say. there were some lows. We'll talk about that later, but there was a lot of highs on this. But other than that, Tick Tick Boom is one of the highlights of last year.
Yeah, Tick Tick Boom is on my list too. It is so good. If
Yes.
you watch clips of Jonathan Larson next to clips of Andrew Garfield, it is an incredible performance. He really becomes Larson. At times, you don't even remember that it's Andrew Garfield. I think he is
It's very
really,
uncanny.
really, really good in it. And you do not have to know anything about Jonathan Larson to get this movie and to feel something from it, because it is at its core about a man who is turning 30 and dealing with the everybody knows the feelings that come with that, of feeling old and feeling, when am I going to feel successful and accomplished? And basically he learns his life work up to that point was no good and nobody liked it. And it's about dealing with that. So it is extremely relatable to people in our age group, I think, and it is just a really fun movie.
Now,
Lin-Manuel Miranda really knew what he was doing when he was directing that.
did you see this, Garrett?
I've not seen it.
Now, I like Andrew, I was present for some of this. I've seen the first 7 minutes of the movie, which is basically just the opening musical number, and it starts off pretty well. I did kind of laugh at myself because I was thinking I was thinking a lot of the same things he's talking about are some of those things that I thought about with Inside. So it was very, very good. Andrew Garfield spent about a year, I think, working on, or a year and a half working on his singing, because he was not a singer before this, but he trained and he got good, and he really holds it down. It seems like a really good seems really good from what I've saw, but I have to finish watching it. I just ran out of time.
Yeah, dude can sing, and it also features a really nice almost cameo guest appearance of Bradley Whitford as Stephen Sondheim, which is extra special.
And is Vanessa Hudgens in this?
Vanessa Hudgens.
And would you say she's a star?
Yes, with an asterisk.
Yes, with an asterisk. So
maybe an illiterate one. She's not on a letter level.
Yeah, she's a star, but I don't know that her name's on the poster.
I know.
Okay, so where are we at now? Number 5?
Yeah, we're on number 5s now.
My number 5?
You're number 5. What was your number 5? You got Josh.
My number 5 is West Side Story, which we already covered. So now it should be David's number 5, right? He muted him.
I said again, we talked about my number. Oh, hang on. We talked about my number 5. So now we're on to number 4s. So my number 4 is one that is not shared, I think, on anybody else's list, and that is Encanto, the latest Disney film, Disney's 60th animated film. I think it's got a really good shot at Best Animated Film at the Academy Award this year. The music, you don't like it. It simmered on me at first. I was like, okay, I don't know. This is okay. Man, it sticks with you though. The music is really, really infectious. The animation is really vivid. But one of the things that stuck out to me the most when the first time I watched it was how fluid the character animations are. There's a lot of dancing in this movie, and it's so smooth. It's a movie that kind of made me want to dance as I'm watching it. I've been playing the music a ton. My son likes to go to sleep to the soundtrack, and so Encanto, 5 stars for me. I put it in my number 4 spot.
Awesome. Okay.
Cool.
Next.
4 for me was Summer of Soul.
Awesome. Andrew.
Why don't you go ahead?
Interesting. Okay. 4 for me was Tick Tick Boom. So why don't you go ahead?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, 4 for me.
I saw this coming.
4 for me is Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights.
Okay.
And
okay.
This was I think this was the first movie that brought me back to the theater last summer, and it was every kind. There's every definition of spectacular. Absolutely, it is 100% fantastic. This movie is, there's so much to say about this. I'm only going to say it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible, and go see it.
Yeah, In the Heights is on my list as well. In fact, it's my favorite movie of 2021. It's
Whoa.
so good. It was the first movie that really truly made me feel like I was back at the movie theaters. It was so loud and such a spectacle. It's got so much great talent. And it is a story that really translated well to the screen. The original musical came out in the early 2000s. And 20 years later, still a meaningful message, still a very impactful message. In fact, the movie had some updates to make it even more present day. And I just really loved it. I cried, I sang, I still listen to the soundtrack semi-regularly. So it's my favorite movie of the year. How about that?
I can understand that. It was fun. It wasn't really for me, but I really
That's because you don't like musicals, but that's okay.
I like musicals. I just don't
I
have a hard time naming them.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, next, so
we're gonna have to go into I think our number 3s. We've gone through I think all our number 4s.
Yeah,
so we can either I think we'll go with my number 3.
Yep.
And that is No Time to Die. James Bond's No Time to Die. I think a little bit of this was So Many Sequels bias, where we started watching the James Bond franchise. And so I was very fresh going into No Time to Die. And so I really had a greater appreciation, I think, than I would have if I just watched this movie cold. Really dug it. I thought it was a really fantastic way to send Daniel Craig off. And I'd watch it again. Like these top 5 movies, I'd watch over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, No Time to Die is not quite in my top 10, but I did really love it. You guys should listen to our review episode of it because that movie was like became a personal mission for us to see.
Yeah.
We were supposed to open season 3 with it. And now it's almost a year and a half, 2 years to watch it. So it was good, though. I really liked it.
It was a mission that we chose to accept. Well, wait. Sorry. Wrong series.
Wow.
It didn't make it to anyone else's top 10, though?
No, it was a runner-up for mine.
Fair. Okay. Well, then.
Wow, I screwed that one up.
So we can either do Garrett or Josh, or did Garrett or Andrews. Josh's number 3 was
Inside. Bo Burnham's Inside.
Which we talked about a little bit already in our last episode.
My number 3 is Judas and the Black Messiah. Strong performances from everybody in that movie. I mean, it tells a story that needs to be told, that hasn't been told, probably opens a lot of people's eyes. I mean, just really, really powerful performances from them.
Yes, it is my number 1 movie of the year. Need I say it again? Like Keith Stanfield, give him everything. Daniel Kaluuya, powerful. Like Daniel Kaluuya could have been in The Harder They Fall as well. Jesse Plemons was his best performance of the year, and at least of the movies that came out this year. What a fantastic movie. Martin Sheen was terrifying. So many good things you could say about Judas and the Black Messiah, but I'll let you go back and check out our review of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
please do.
That is also in my list. So.
Oh yeah, it's Andrew. You have it here at number 2.
It is my number 2. So
awesome.
Did you tell us your number?
I did not tell you my number 3. My number 3 is Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza.
Wow.
So
okay.
I think it's an interesting story. I think the performances in it were great. I think the style of the film is very, very good. I think it's an interesting film to date. It also has a lot of just like, it's real, I don't want to say twisty's not the thing, but there are times when it kind of keeps you on edge a little bit, but you really just don't know what's going to happen. And I like that. I like that. This to me was a little bit of a throwback to 70s and 80s romantic films.
Yeah.
So, and I like that. I think it's a great thing. It's also very reminiscent of Harold and Maude kind of that romanticized way of telling a romantic movie,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
I think
But
this movie
anyway.
looked very nice.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and
All right.
that has inched its way to my number 3.
Excellent. Sounds
All
great.
right.
Well, then
All
what
right.
is,
Well, as I look at the master list here, there's 2 more movies to talk about. Josh and I
okay.
both had Spider-Man No Way Home at our number 2. So we'll talk about Garrett's number 2.
Barbara Star Go to Vista Del Mar is the greatest movie of the year.
I'm so glad that made it into someone's list because in my heart, I agree so much.
Yes, listen. And this has been number 1 all year until I rewatched Mitchell's versus Machines and it bumped it. But Barb and Star, let me tell you the journey of Barb and Star. It was a pandemic movie. It was just here's funny people. Let's watch this movie. It turned into a fever dream of insane, crazy, ridiculous, off the wall, where you think it's going to go, went crazier than where you thought it might even go. And I paid for it as a rental. And then I wanted to watch it again and I paid for it as a rental. And then I wanted to watch it again and I had to pay for it. And I was like, you know what? I've already rented it 3 times. I'm going to purchase this movie. And now you can watch it for free, and you should, because it is insane.
Yes, absolutely love that movie. It's so funny. It is not in my top 10, but it is incredibly, incredibly funny. And the song numbers in it are actually really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I adore Barb and Star. It
Yes.
makes me feel good when I feel bad.
they can make a sequel. Please make a sequel.
This is one that's still on my
I doubt
list.
we'll get one.
Oh, it's crazy. You should. Just,
doubt we'll
you know,
get
it's
one.
not the best movie of the year, but it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
All right.
That's true.
So
All right,
just
so-
to recap, just real quick, because we've already done him. What was everyone's number 1?
So mine was Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yep.
Garrett's was Mitchell's.
Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Josh's was In the Heights. Andrew has a number 1 movie that has not appeared on anybody else's list. Andrew, would you like to talk about it very quickly?
Quickly.
Don't look up.
Don't look
Talk
up.
about
Don't
it.
Look Up was your favorite movie of the year. I am so
Yes.
furious that this is waited to the last final seconds.
Talk, boy. You ain't got time to laugh.
Gotta do some
It's a
bonus
great
here.
it's a great film. It's great writing. It's terrific direction. It's got absolutely terrific performances. I love the ending song, even though it's not like the best of endings. It's certainly a movie that's great. That's great satire. We don't get that too often. We don't get great satire. And I know I'm running out of time, but that is my review. It is the best movie of the year
Alright.
for me.
We'll see you
Oh,
guys season 5
yeah.
here in a few weeks.
I'll compile the top
somanysequels.com.
10 for the group.
Follow
I'll
us
compile
there.
that later.
We'll see you guys in a couple of months probably. Bye-bye.
See ya.